Hello, welcome to Board Games with Neramas. I'm Joseph and I'm here today with Draco as usual. We're going to continue this top 100 and we're halfway already. So it's time to do the 50 to 41 and let's dive straight into it and start with number 50. So my number 50 is Dead of Winter. This is a sort of post-apocalyptic cooperative survival game where, sort of like in The Walking Dead, you're trying to survive against the zombies, but the zombies aren't the main focus. The main focus are the people in the story and how they interact with each other. Because there might be a traitor in the colony. You don't know for sure, which is something I really like about this game. There's other games that have this traitor mechanic, but in those you know for certain that some of the players are sort of working for the other side. In this one you're not sure. And also I really like, I know some people don't like this, but I love how everybody has a personal objective. So even if I'm one of the good guys, my objective could be to store up a lot of food. And as I'm not contributing that much food to the colony, people might start thinking I'm the traitor, but I'm not. And that's how the traitor sort of can be hidden that way, because everybody is a suspect in this whole social deduction that goes on at the same time. And it's a good cooperative game as well. You're trying to fight off the zombies and search for loot and so on. And you need to feed your colony, and in the expansion you can build up like better stuff in your colony to make you survive. There's even a version that I haven't played yet, but I'm really excited for, where you play with both the expansions and you have 2 colonies, so you play like 8 players and 4 people in each colony, and they are also fighting each other or like trading with each other. It just sounds amazing. I have to try that one out. So my number 50 is Dead of Winter. This was 42 last year when I did the top 50, and yeah, I just like it. My number 49 was 16 last year, so it's dropped down a bit because I haven't played it. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I was a bit too overexcited for this one a year ago, but I still like it. It's called Saloon Tycoon. And in this one you are in the Wild West, you're building a saloon, but you're doing it also in 3D. So you have these little cubes and these cardboard tiles, and you're building up your saloon higher and wider. Really cool stuff. And you also have this card play that is really interesting in the game. And as you do different things, these characters like outlaws or townsfolk come to join your saloon and hang out in it, and you don't want to have the outlaws there because they give you negative effects, but you can also send them over to other players. So there's a lot of interaction, quite mean game at some times, but I enjoy it. And there's an expansion that came from a Kickstarter last year that I did a run through for as well. You can check all that out up there in the playlist. And also there you're going to have some animals, a little ranch next to it, where you're trying to breed your animals and all that, which will get you points to win the game. So Saloon Tycoon is a game that I can recommend, even though I haven't played it in a while. It's one of the games that I want to play soon, actually. So number 48 also dropped down. It was 26 last year. It's called Fields of Arle, and this is Uwe Rosenberg's 2-player farming simulator. Actually 3-player now, because there's been an expansion released, so they let you play like with 3 players. I haven't tried it with 3 yet, but I tried the expansion on 2, and that was really cool. The reason it dropped down is that when I played it last time, I didn't think it was that fun that I remembered it was. I like it still. I mean, it's still in my top 50. But somehow, yeah, there's other games that have been released that sort of 2-player games and so on. That, yeah, I don't know. Fields of Arle have dropped down a bit, but Fields of Arle is a really cool. It's a lot. It's a lot of steps in it. Like you gotta get wood to build a carriage, and then you need like a cow or a horse to draw the carriage, and then you're going out with it to different towns in Germany to deliver goods, to get water. Water is mainly sort of the money in it, basically, that you can use to build even better buildings that give you points in the end. There's a lot of steps in it. It's a lot of, and I think I'm sort of, as you might see later on this list as well, I am sort of changing a bit as a player. I'm not really, I mean, I still like it, I still want to play it, but I'm sort of not that hot about these Euro farming simulators as I might have been a year ago or 2 years ago. So anyhow, Fields of Arle, I did a video for it as well, you can check that out. So my number 47 is called Blood Rage. This was number 31 last year, and it's dropped down because there's another game that came out that sort of pushed it down. But Blood Rage is really cool. It's a sort of you draft cards, you have your big cool miniatures. Draco loves this one. Yeah, Draco's dream is to be a promo figure in that game. Because you have this big Nordic mythology, like trolls and giants and all that monsters out on the board are fighting each other, and you have your troops and your Vikings. And it's really cool. You have the gods in the expansion. It's really good expansion, gods of Asgard, where the gods are on the board as well and giving different effects. You can control them at times. And so it's a fighting game, but at the same time, a lot about the game is about this draft and how you pick cards and how you play those cards later on. Really well made. It looks awesome. Blood Rage is my number 47. It's 46, and that's called Glass Road. And Glass Road wasn't on my top 50 actually, so this has gone up for me. But this is also again Uwe Rosenberg, and it's a sort of farming again, but not farming. It's more like you're trying to make glass and use it to build buildings and so on. In Glass Road, there's a really interesting mechanism, again, I keep saying that wrong, where you have a bunch of cards. Everybody has the same cards in the deck. You choose a few of them each round, and then you're trying to sort of, if I play a card, the clay guy clay worker who gets clay, then everybody else who also have the clay worker on hand, they get to play it at the same time as a copy, and then I only get to do half of the action. If I play it on my own, nobody else has it, then I get to do all of the actions on it. So you're trying to figure out like what are the other players going for, and trying to figure out which cards to choose so that you can benefit from them, but they don't benefit from you. So really interesting card mechanics in this game. I really like that in Glass Road, my number 46. 45 is a game that has dropped down from 35, but I still like it a lot, of course. It's called Trajan. Trajan is Stefan Fels. In the Roman Empire, you're trying to build up Rome and serve the Trajan as the emperor. And this is a point salad game. You can do a lot of different things that all leads to points. So you have a lot of, you can build buildings, you can go out on the war effort for Rome and trying to conquer the northern provinces and so on. And wow, there's a lot of stuff in this game. But the core of the game is something I really enjoy. The main, how you select your actions. Because you have a rondelle system on your board, like these bowls, and you have these markers in different colors, like wooden markers, and you move them around. So if I pick up like 3 from a bowl, then I have to drop off. I can go 3 steps, I have to drop 1 at each place I go by, and I want to make sure to drop the right color so that it matches my later actions. And this is a really interesting system. I think it's called the Mancala system. The Mancala, I think, was from the beginning of this dropping stones of different colors in bowls. And what you do is you have to plan like a few steps ahead. Like I can't just do this round, I have to plan, because if I move those 3, then I might end up with 1 guy over here, and then I can only move 1 step with that guy. But when I've done that, I add to whatever is there, and then I have to move a lot more. So there's a lot of planning involved in this game, and I really enjoy it. That's Trajan, my number 45. You can check out the video I did for that as well. It's easier than just explaining it. Okay, 44 is called Isle of Skye. Isle of Skye is it's sort of like Carcassonne, where you build your little kingdom with tiles and roads and different types of terrain. But you also, to get those tiles, it's like an auction every round. So you have to put out your tiles on sale. It's not an auction, you put them out on sale, and then someone else can buy them from you. And then you can use the money that you saved up to buy a tile from one of the other players. So you're trying to find the right combinations, because every game you play, which is really good with this one, you have different goals, and they are different every time you play. There's a bunch of them. And the combination of them are different, so then you have different goals. Like in some games you want to have a lot of sheep, so you want to find tiles with sheep on them. In some games you want to have a lot of boats or lighthouses and so on. There's different things on these tiles that you're trying to match. And there's an expansion also that I played recently that is sort of another board, that you have another player board where you have journeymans traveling, and you're trying to get different bonuses by getting the journeymans to the right kinds of terrain tiles. And that really made it complex. The base game is fairly simple, it's a gateway game, but the expansion really made it more of a gamer's game, and I really like that, how Isle of Skye became a real... It's not heavy, but there's a lot to think about. There's a lot of steps to consider in your actions. So I really like that one. You can check that out as well. I made a video for the base game Isle of Skye. Then my number 43 is a new one for me this year. It's a Euphoria from Stonemaier Games, and this was one of the Stonemaier games that I hadn't played. I think I played all of them now. And this one was this came out, I think, just after Viticulture, so it's a few years old. And in it you have, the theme is really cute, well, not cute, but it's funny. It's like a dystopia in the future, but it's made in a funny way. So you can find these artifacts that are, for example, like a book or a teddy bear, but you can also find Viticulture as an artifact or board game. And you use these as resources, and you also have like gold and stone and clay and so on. And you're trying to... it's really fast actions. It's one of those worker placement games where you either place a worker on your turn or you pick up all the workers or some of the workers that you already placed. Really like that system where the workers just don't come home by themselves. You have to actively spend a turn to bring them home. But then there's also bumping. So let's say I go to a spot that I think another player will go to. If he or she goes there, they will bump me back, and I have my worker back, so I don't have to spend a turn taking him back. Really fun stuff. I really like that. The theme is nice. The gameplay is really fast and solid, and it's a bit long perhaps from my experience, but I think it speeds up as you learn the game better. So Euphoria, anyhow, you can check that out as well. I made a video for that. That's my number 43. My number 42 is another Euro game of farming and such. It's called Clans of Caledonia, and this one is new as well on the list. And this was... it's basically you take, and the designer has been totally open about this, that he's taken stuff from other games that he enjoyed. So you have a lot from Terra Mystica, which is one of my favorite games, right? Where you have this map that you place like workers or buildings on, and you sort of build them to get your player board has all this stuff on it, and as you build a building you reveal something beneath it, and that's whatever you get from it. Like if you if you place a cow, then you will get some milk every round. And you can use that milk to make cheese if you made a cheese factory on the map as well. And then you can use that cheese, and here comes another game from Marco Polo, Voyages of Marco Polo, where you have all these contracts. So inspiration from that one, where you use this like cheese and whiskey and so on, because you make whiskey in the Scottish Highlands, and you use these to fulfill contracts, and those contracts will get you points. So yeah, there's a lot of steps, and this is also a market. Like all these resources have a value, and as you trade with the market they go up or down, and so there's some interaction between the players that way. And there's a lot about like area control in that way, that you're blocking each other on the map. You're trying to fulfill some goals and so on. Really good stuff, really well made. Clans of Caledonia, I can really recommend. My number 42. My number 41, the last one for this list, is a game that was number 50 last year, so it has moved up. Not many games have moved up, but this one has. And it's called XCOM, the board game. And I played this a few times at conventions and so on. I had so much fun with this. So much. This is a real-time game where you have an app. You can have it in your phone, but I recommend like an iPad or such, or like an Android, where it's XCOM. You're defending the world against aliens invading, and you should be 4 players. You can play it with 2 or 3, but you should be 4. Everybody has a role, so they have a job to do each round. And it's the first part of the game is in real time, so you click start on the app and you get this music that's really stressful, and you have to do all this stuff. Things happen, aliens are coming, there's crises, you have to deploy soldiers, you have to fund research to get better equipment. Everything happens and it's so stressful, and you're trying to do this, and then everybody relaxes and you start rolling dice and see to resolve all these actions to see if you made it. And it's a really fun push your luck system here as well when you roll those dice. Like if you fail, do you want to keep going, but the risks get higher and higher as you keep going. Maybe you will lose your soldiers. If you do, you have to get new soldiers, but then you need more money, which is really tight. Really cool cooperative game. I really enjoy this one. So XCOM is my number 41, and I can really recommend that if you like real-time games and if you like XCOM. And I played a lot of XCOM lately on the PS4 as well, so maybe that's affecting my judgment as well. But yeah, I love this theme of defending against the aliens. So much fun. So that was number 50 to 41. In the next one we go from 40 to 41, so we're getting up into the really good games, of course. Now all these games are good on top 100. I mean, I played hundreds of games, so these 100 are really, of course, good games as well. I mean, in my opinion. What do you think? Tell me in the comments section, and don't forget to like the video as well. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening or morning, or whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Be like Draco. Follow Board Games with Niramas on Facebook at BGW Niramas. Board Games with Niramas is sponsored by Alara Games in Sweden.